All right. Welcome to the BI case coordination training session. Everybody on the call already knows me, but again, if anybody listens to this after the fact, Leslie Miska, Office of Aging and Disability Services Information Services Manager, and I'll be leading today's training session. And I'll also just say this training session was specifically created for the BI case coordination role, which I know is vacant on your team right now. So Liz asked if all of you could participate. So I'm welcome. I'm happy to have you all here. I am going to do the best that I can to explain the how the BI case coordinator will use Evergreen. So next slide, please, Nikki. You have been added as participants to this training session, so you are in listener mode and therefore your line is muted. We do want to hear any questions that you have, though. I want to be able to respond to those, so please take a minute and find the Q&A icon on your Zoom menu bar. It may be hidden under the 3-dot ellipses that says more, so definitely find that, get that opened up, and feel free to enter questions into that Q&A throughout the presentation. I have a couple of slides and then I'm going to do some live demoing, but I can keep my eye on that and try to respond while we're working through the presentation, or if I need to wait until the end just to stay focused on what I'm showing you, I can certainly respond to those at the end of the session. We should have plenty of time together. I did block 2 hours for us. I don't expect it will take me much more than half of that time to get through the things that I want to show you in the system. So we should have plenty of time for questions if you have any. Next slide, please, Nikki. So the things that I plan to cover during today's session are the BI workflow. I have a Visio document that I did not embed into the slides because it's quite large. So I'll share that with you, show that workflow to you and kind of talk through it. And then we'll go into the system and I'll show you the contact form, how to create a person record, the level of care form and how that gets filled out. And then we'll talk a little bit about some notifications and queries and the how to do care coordinator or care coordination agency assignments. Next slide, please. So I'm going to steal the screen share from Nikki. And hopefully you can see, I hate when it does that. Sorry, I'm sorry. I can't handle my screens here. Okay. So again, this is a Visio document that I have. I can share it out with this group after the fact, although I'm not sure how many people have Visio on their machine. I can also try to figure out how to export it to a PDF or something of that nature, but I'm not entirely sure how to do that myself. I'm not a Visio expert here, but I wanted to be able to sort of walk you through this. This is a document that Brittany and I created and reviewed with Liz a long time ago. So Liz, you'll probably recognize this document, but I think it's helpful to understanding the different actors or roles and how they use the system from the brain injury waiver program perspective. So we're going to start up here at this first swim lane, which is the initial application Evergreen entry. And then we'll drop down here and just quickly look at the annual application Evergreen entry, although that doesn't really pertain so much to the BI case coordination role, but that's more BI care coordinator role. So initially, a person will be referred to us or come to ODES and request BI services. And the initial assessments are done by Maximus and the med assessment is done in the MeCare system, and the MAPI and the health and safety scores are health and safety assessment are completed by Maximus, and all of the data is keyed into Maximus's Assessment Pro system. So all that stuff will remain the same as far as like happening in MeCare, Assessment Pro. Maximus will still capture all that stuff that way. Once all of that's done, it's my understanding that Maximus notifies you, Liz. I think that those notifications come to Liz, and or they may have come to the BI case coordination role in the past. And then what should happen once we're live in Evergreen at that point is the BI case coordination role or Liz's role, somebody who's taking on those responsibilities would then go into the Evergreen system and create or update a person record that might already exist in Evergreen to include the brain injury information. So the first form that gets created after the person record is created or located, if it already exists, is the level of care form. This is sort of the equivalent to the comprehensive assessment in the Evergreen system on the DD side of the house. So if you've been listening to any of the training sessions where we've been talking about the comprehensive assessment, brain injury does not use the comprehensive assessment. You have all these other assessments that have already occurred outside of Evergreen, and those the information that's in Assessment Pro will be used to populate the level of care form. So we'll look at that together today, and I'll show you what that form consists of. And so you'll also be able to upload any attachments that exist if needed or wanted against this level of care form in the Evergreen system. If the person is eligible, we'll take the happy path here. Then the BI case coordinator, again, my understanding, so Liz, feel free if I go astray here or say anything inaccurate, please feel free to correct me, but it's my understanding that then the BI case coordinator would create and submit the initial application packet for that individual. There are some attached still paper documents that are filled out and part of the application packet itself. I'm not going to cover the application packet during today's session. We did have, there was a business process training session yesterday regarding the application packet. It was geared towards the developmental disabilities group, but you guys can definitely listen back to the application packet session recording if you want. The tool works the same way, the form works the same way, just your application attachments might be a little bit different. And I can certainly, if time permits today, I can certainly pull up another document and show you what sort of the required fields are for that app packet. Once that application packet has been created by the BI case coordinator, it will route in the system to Liz, the BI waiver manager, for her review and approval of the application packet. And then if they're determined eligible, which they will be, an offer, they'll be added to the program management module. And that is going to be done manually by Liz, I suspect, or possibly this BI case coordinator role would then manually add that person to the program management area of the system. And when a slot becomes available, an offer will be made to that person. Once that person receives and accepts the offer, then the case coordinator can start the Section 18 person-centered plan. Again, it's my understanding that this is sort of the normal trajectory. I'm not sure if that's always the case or if sometimes a BI care coordinator would be assigned right away. But back when we did the requirements, that was what was discussed, is that the case coordinator would start and complete a Section 18 PCP. And that would then generate their Section 18 PAs. And then their assignment for their BI care coordinator would also be completed by the BI case coordinator.
You have it right, Leslie.
Okay,
You got
great.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
it's
just wanted to
me.
make sure nothing changed.
It's me right now because it's vacant. So I'm the one creating the new PCPs for the BI we
Okay.
to bring people on. So that's
Okay.
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 But yes, you got it right.
Okay, great. And so after currently Liz, and then once she fills the position, the BI case coordinator completes that PCP, it will auto create the PAs, which will then trigger the notification to the BI care coordinators who would review and approve those PAs, and those would flow over to MIMS that evening. And then once Liz is able to make the BI care coordinator assignment, then the person would be transferred, not systemically, but it would be handed off from Liz to the BI care coordinator for the BI care coordinator to then continue with the process. Sorry, before that happens though, the Liz, or once the position is filled, the BI case coordinator would also create that initial classification packet. That will also trigger the notification to your team, the right here, BI Care Monitor, to review and approve the classification. And then that classification data still gets manually entered into MIMS even after we go live in Evergreen. So after the PCP is created, PAs are reviewed by you guys, care coordinator assignment is made, the classification packet will still be done by the BI case coordinator. They'll link the completed PCP and the level of care to that packet, and then they'll submit that, which will trigger the notification to the BI care monitors to go ahead and review and approve that classification. And then they will enter that classification into MIMS right here. And then that classification data will flow back into Evergreen from MIMS at the evening that it was entered. It will flow back in. So if this is the first time, that's the end there. And then it will be sort of handed off to the care coordinator, and then the annual process will be handled by the BI care coordinator. So I'm not going to go through all of this together. It's very similar, but again, I can try to give you guys this Visio document in some format that's readable for you, but the care coordinator would then kick off all the annual documentation, and that would still trigger notifications to the care monitors to review the packets, excuse me, classification packet, PAs, things like that. And it will just keep going year after year like that. So with that, I'll log in here. I'm going to log into our test environment. Please keep in mind that this is a little buggy and a little slow, so we might run into some challenges here, but hopefully I can show you what I intended to show you. So as a BI case coordinator role, again, I am logging in as that role. So as a care monitor, it might look a little tiny bit different. As a waiver manager, also might look a tiny bit different. But in general, this is what you would see when you log in. So you'll have the Evergreen, you'll have your persistent navigation menu at the top, the white navigation bar. Everybody has that. And this will have your menu items that you can always access no matter where you are in the site. This Evergreen tree logo will always bring you back to this dashboard. This is My Dashboard. I'm not going to go through all of this with you today because there are some micro-learning videos out there that you can learn more about these features. And I'm not going to go through all of these menu items either, because again, there are some micro-learnings that talk about a lot of these things, but I do want to talk about a couple of them with you. So one of them is the contact form. This is something that can be used by BI, Liz. You guys can decide if it makes sense for you or not. But this is a form that's available, and the Developmental Disabilities Program uses this to capture their DD referrals. And we did set it up so that BI could capture their referrals here as well. So if you choose to and want to, you can click on contact form when you get a call with somebody requesting to be assessed for services. And then you can use this plus new contact form button here, and you can select the area of BI and the reason for the contact being referral/intake. You can also do one that's just called information if somebody was just calling for information but not requesting assessment. Or if you just want to capture any phone calls that you receive for the BI program, you can use this other category. But today I'm going to show you the referral intake one. And once you've selected that, you can then say how you received the contact. Was it by phone, email? Did somebody come into the office? Was it faxed or some other way? For today, I'll just do phone. It will pre-populate with today's date, but you can also change this date if you got the call on a different day. And you can add comments here. This is optional. You don't have to add any comments if you don't want to. And then once you hit save, it will create the contact form and it will pull in the data that you just entered in that create modal. You can always edit this again later. If you want to add comments later here, you certainly can. And then it will provide for you a couple of extra sections of this form. So you can see it come when you come in here, they're all already expanded for you, but you can also open this, click this edit toggle and it'll open up and show you all the sections of the form, or you can just, this is a small form, so you can just scroll to, it's not overwhelming. But you can see that you have the ability to edit these other sections as well. So once it's created, you can click to edit the referral source and you can enter a name and a phone number if you capture that. If there's an extension, you can add that. If you capture an email, you can add that. Just has to be in the right format. And then if that's all, if you don't need any more information here, you have everything you need in order to refer for the assessments with Maximus, you can enter this area and you can say, no follow-ups are needed. If for some reason you weren't ready to refer to Maximus for the assessment process, you could answer this as yes, a follow-up is needed. And if you answer yes, then you have the ability to add the follow-up details later. So you can make whatever separate contact that you need to make. And then you can come in here after you've done that, find this contact form again on whatever date that occurs. I'm going to put today because I don't think it's going to let me future date it. You can put whatever time it was that you did the follow-up. And then you can add some additional follow-up notes. Oh, I'm trying to put a date in the past. Did you see that? I was trying to put a time that's in the past and it will not let me do that. That's interesting. Oh, sorry, because I'm sorry. This is when I want to do the follow-up. That's why. So I can future date here. So I could say I want to do a follow-up on the 24th by 5 p.m., let's say. Okay. And then I can say I need to follow up with a person for details. So I'll just say details for this. And then that's so weird. It's going to make me answer that. Anyhow, sorry for my confusion here. Once you've completed your follow-up and you then say that there are no more follow-ups needed again, then it will stop giving the option to add more follow-ups there. But you could add as many follow-ups as you need to. I'm just struggling to, apparently I'm too tired to understand how this is working right now, but you can say follow-up is needed, yes, the first time, and then enter the follow-up details once you've done that. And then if you're not going to need to do any more follow-ups, then you can say no there.
Leslie, I have a question. Does this
Yeah.
does this just kind of stay under the contact form section, or would this ever get tied to like a person record at all?
Great question, Liz. So it just stays here in the
Okay.
contact form area. It will never be able to be tied to a person.
Okay.
And the contact form area is only visible to a very small select number of users, and they're all internal state staff. So it's like the DD intake staff, your team if they want to use it, and then some of the adult protective staff users have access to this area as well because APS captures all of their non-APS report calls. So they track those in here. Like if somebody calls them by accident and they were supposed to go to like DLRS or something, they'll capture that here. If it's like a wrong phone number, they track literally every call that they get. So if it's like a wrong phone number, if somebody was trying to call Walmart or something like that, they track that in here, and then they compare the number of phone calls to their phone records. So they have a pretty intense Q&A of the calls that come into the APS hotline. So those are the only, and I think some of our admin staff, like our read-only admin staff who might take the phone calls for the office, also have access to here so that they could enter something for DD referral team or yourself to like get a form started if we needed them to track that in the system.
Thank you, Leslie. And then is there an ability, like, say if I was trying to search for something, like so and so called, right? They said, "Well, I talked to Christine this week." Do I have the ability, like, to search in throughout it?
Yeah, you
Okay.
have the ability to search all the contact forms that are in here. So you
Okay.
can, and you can search by the content that you're seeing here. So you can search by the
Okay.
contact name that was entered. The you can sort by the service area. So if whoever took the call put it under BI, you can filter down to just the BI calls. You can search by the staff member's name who took the call, the date, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Uh,
Great.
And that way you can hopefully find the one that you're looking for. It will sort them to, hmm, right now it looks like it's sorted by contact ID number, like the oldest one at the top, which is kind of weird. But you should be able to search by, yeah, you can click on this date of contact column 2 times, and then it'll bring the newest one to the top. So you can see the newer ones easily here at the top. So I created this one last night, testing it out, and then we just did this one right here today. Mm. And then you do have the ability to open up the record by using that, or just clicking on the row and quickly scanning down through it. Great questions. So again, your choice as to whether or not you want to use the contact form, but it is there for you if that makes sense for your group. However, back to our Visio diagram, whether you use the contact form or not, once all of the assessments have been done, and now it's time to create a person record in the system because you want to create the level of care and you're going to start working with that person record, you'll want to do a person search. So the first thing you're going to want to do is search to see if your person exists. So I'm gonna pretend that uh my person's name is Leslie BI-care. And I'm gonna do a search and see if anybody comes up. Nobody comes up with that name. But just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna just do Leslie B and see if maybe there's any records like that. And I'm also gonna just do Leslie just to see who comes up. So there is a Leslie already, and she is first name Leslie, last name Neuro. So you know, you want to confirm that this is not the same person before creating a new person. But if you are sure that this is not the same person by, date of birth, social security number, if there's an A number on here, it's not a match. Then that's when you can go ahead and create a new person. So you can use this little add new person button in the upper left-hand corner here, and it will pop up the new person create stepper. There are 4 steps, and I'm going to talk you through those. So you'd add required fields at a minimum. So required fields are indicated by the asterisk, and the required to complete the person is also indicated by the yellow bar. So in order to advance to the next step, you have to complete all the ones with the asterisk. So I'm gonna, call her Leslie BI Care. And I'm going to give her a date of birth of 1/1/1940. That makes her really old, but we're going to do that. And then you have to enter, oh, and see, I didn't put it in the right date format. So I probably should have used my date picker. It would have given me the correct format myself for me, but I can also just edit it. So it does have to be month, day, day, and year. But you can also use the date picker if that makes more sense to you. You can go back for years here. You can go to the months. This is the date that I had selected. And then in this case, these two fields are grouped together and there's a little red asterisk here. You have to put one or the other of these. You will be required to have either a social security number or a main care number in order to create a person record in the Evergreen system. So if they don't have a main care number yet, you'll need to obtain their social security number and enter that. If they do have a main care number, you can enter that. And you can enter both. But for the purposes of today, I'm going to just show you. I'm just going to put it in an SSN and move forward. So once you've added that, it's going to take you to step 2. What step 2 is doing is it's taking this criteria that you've entered and it's looking for possible matches in the Evergreen system. So it's looking to see, are there any duplicate persons in the Evergreen system that might match this criteria? And it's going to give you all possible matches. So this one's giving me 12 possible matches, and it's basing that on the 5 fields here: first name, last name, date of birth, social security number, and main care number. It's going to give you the matches that have the most, or the possible duplicate records that have the most matches. So all of these potential matches, they don't have any more than 2 matching pieces of information. So you can see here, this one's Leslie PCP, and then the date of birth is 1/1/1950, but it looks like it has the same social security number. I use that a lot when I set things up. I also use Leslie as the first name on all of mine. So that's why you're seeing this as a duplicate. Leslie and the social security number matches Leslie and the social security number here. And it tells you that right here, 2 matches, SSN, first name. And if you scroll down, it's going to tell you every single one what's matching, and you can review it and just make sure, again, none of these are actual matches, exact matches. It's not the same person. Once you're satisfied that there is not a duplicate here, so also if you thought that maybe one of these was a duplicate, you can try to open the record and confirm that further. I'm not going to deviate away because I don't want to have to navigate back here, but you could go into the record and confirm. And if it is the person, you can start using that record right away because it already exists. Or if it's not, you can always come back here and start the stepper again. But in this case, I'm certain that none of these are a match. So I've created several of them. And then you can hit continue if you're satisfied that they are not matches. What this step is then going to do, and because we're in the test environment, it can't do this right now because it's not connected to MIMS. But in production, it will be connected to MIMS data, and it will check to see if there are matching records in the MIMS data set that I might want to link this person record to. So again, here you're not seeing any matches, but it would work the same way as what you saw in the previous stepper. If there were any matches, it would show you any potential MIMS matches, and it would tell you how many of the 5 fields, first name, last name, date of birth, social security, and main care number, were matching up. And it would put the ones that had the most matches towards the top. And if there was one that you wanted to link to, it would give you a little option that says link, and you'd be able to link and use that person record information, and it would pull some of the MIMS key information like their A number, their name, their date of birth into your Evergreen record. And it would also then keep that record linked to MIMS so that it could get additional data from MIMS for that member in an ongoing fashion. If there are no matches, or if there are no matches that are correct and you're certain of that, then you can hit continue again. And this is where you can make any final edits if you need to make any final edits, but hopefully you've keyed all of the information that you have and need at the first step and you don't need to make any edits here. And then you can create the person. But I'll add something just so that you can see that it does create that. So upon create, oh, that's strange. It's telling me I don't have access, but let's, oh, maybe because, let me see if we can find her. Well, we'll have to get that fixed. Sorry about that. It's not giving you access to her because she doesn't have the BI person. BI location type on that person record. Leslie to follow up on BI person type assignment. BI case coordinator role. All right. I'll follow up on that and we will make sure that we get that remedied. But for now, I do have a person record that I can show you. So we'll go to the Leslie Neuro record. So once your person has been created, you can navigate, it should automatically navigate you to the record, and then you can start capturing additional details that you might need to capture. But for today's demo, what I want to show you is how you would then add the level of care form. So again, you'll have your primary navigation here. You can populate any of this information that you need to, but you can also click down here into the forms and plans area. Of course, if you just created this person, there would be no forms here yet. It would be empty, but you will have the plus new form button, and then you can go ahead and create your level of care. So that form exists under assessments, and you'll, this is the test environment. So there are several in here that are not actually forms, but level of care is truly a form in here. And will be in production. So you'd select form category of assessments, the form of level of care, and you would go ahead and hit next. And you would then select main care section 18, which is your only option. And for the first time, you'd select initial. If this was a reassessment and the care coordinator was entering this, they would select annual, or if there was a change in between the annuals, they would select one of those types. But for today, I'll do initial. Oh, shoot, I already have one. So pretend that it's creating a new form for me. I started one on this as a test last night. So pretend that when I hit save, it just brought me right here. And this is the form that I created. And there's just the one section. I actually populated it last night and I submitted it for review. So let me just set this to close and do that again, just so you can see that. I want you to see how it works better than that. There we go. All right, so this is a brand new blank form. Just like other forms in Evergreen, all the sections are collapsed. There is only one section here. So you can just expand it manually, or you can use this expand all, it will expand it. You can also use the toggle, it will show you all the sections, but again, you only have the one, so you don't necessarily need that. You can see that your completion requirements are not met, and you can see what needs to be completed in order to submit this. So in order to submit this so that it would then route to the BI waiver manager, which again, Liz is sort of dual role right now, so she'll be doing all of her own workflows. But if there was a BI case coordinator, they would complete this, then submit it, then Liz would get notified and she would review and approve it. But for right now, The level of care information section needs to be filled out. All of these fields that you see this little exclamation mark are required, and those need to be populated. And then this form requires attachments. So it wants an attachment of the MAPI assessment. It wants an attachment of the health and safety assessment and the BI letter of medical eligibility. It wants you to upload all of those. So let's start by editing the level of care section. You just hover over, click anywhere. It will open up the edit modal. You can put in the date that the assessment was completed. It likely won't be today because you'll have received that from Maximus. So let's just pick an arbitrary date. You can add a note if you want. You can then tell what the outcome of the med assessment was. So in this case, we're going to say medically eligible. You can add the health and safety score. So we'll just say 10. And that will tell me that based on 10, that it's eligible for the main care section 18 level 3. If I put I guess it's not gonna, oh, maybe I need to go lower. I need to go lower. Huh, not re-updating. I'll have to look into that too. Then you can also add the MAPI minimum requirements met, yes or no. So again, I'm going to say yes for purposes of completing this form in a successful way. And so then you just hit save. And it's going to go ahead and save that information that I just populated into that modal. I can still edit this while it's in progress if I need to, or I want to, if I want to go back and add a note here or change something. Maybe let me try to change that and see if it does anything.
It might be doing that because our scores are like 0.5 and lower than that. So maybe if you put in
Oh.
0.4, it might put him to level 2.
Thank you. Huh. I'm not sure why that's not updating. Oh, yep. 0.2 says eligible for main care section 18, but it doesn't have that level of 3. Thank you. It's because I was using numbers way too high. See, I need to pay attention. Thank you for that additional information. So you can enter whatever the health and safety score is, and then it will give you the appropriate care level as well. And then again, you can look at your completion requirements here, and you can see that I've filled out this section, so that's now green and I don't have any yellow exclamation marks there, but I still need to add my attachments. So, oops, I didn't need to do that. So in order to do that, I click here on the attachments, and it's going to open up the attachments modal, and it will give me this plus new attachment button. And I can go ahead and locate the files that I have saved to my machine. So I have a test document that I'll use here. And then you just pick the med assessment category. Pretend this is the med assessment. You can give it an end date if it's only good for a certain period of time. So like this one, usually you guys reassess every year, I believe. So you could put in an end date here of 2025, 2025, 1 year. And then you can give it a little description and hit save. And then it will attach that med assessment. We also needed to attach the health and safety assessment. Or the MAPI, I can't remember. Let's do.
Just for my team, like everything will be in there, so it'll be great. We'll have the like medical eligibility dates in there. We'll have the attached MAPI health and safety, the letter of medical eligibility. I might even do the Maximus choice letter to update that. And then the med, I mean, that can be the full MedX report. So it's just going to be great. We can attach all those documents in there.
Yeah, it'll be very good. I'm gonna leave this end date open just to get these all in here for you. so that we can set the form to complete. And the nice part is that you're saving these attachments against this form. So they're just available for people that have access to this form as well. And then once they're all attached, you can close that. And now you can see I've attached things under the appropriate categories here. So it has updated my completion requirements, and it shows me that I have attached all of the required pieces. So the med was not required, but can be added as well, which I did. And then once everything's in there and you've met your completion requirements and you're ready, as the BI case coordinator, you can then submit this. And once you submit this, it will trigger the notification. Oh, it's going to ask me if I'm sure I want to submit. And if I say yes, it will trigger the notification to the BI waiver manager role. And then the BI waiver manager role can then come in here, take a look at everything. If they think everything looks good, then they can come in here and they would have a like a complete status here. And then that's the end of the level of care form. And then in addition to that, I did want to show you the notifications area. So as a BI case coordinator, you will receive several different notifications for reportable events. I'll do it by area, and then we can kind of go through these and I can show you grievances and appeals on persons that you are assigned to as the case coordinator. Anything like if you create a lost or missing person form, you'll receive the notifications reminding you that you need to submit the daily updates on the lost and missing person form. That may or may not be something that you guys end up using. I don't know. You would also receive notifications on reportable events that are associated to the BI persons. You'll also receive notifications on requests for clarification. So if you create that initial PCP and a care monitor had a question about that, they can request clarification and that will come back to you because you created that PCP. You would also receive same thing for PAs once they are approving those PAs. If there's a request for clarification on those PAs, that would come back to you again if you created that PCP. And then reportable events, if you created the reportable event, you'd get follow up on ones that you started but didn't complete. I think that's all of them. Just make sure really quick I didn't miss anything. There's a lot in here because this is our test environment and we open these forms and then we never complete them. And so it sends like daily reminders of things. Oh, when the BI waiver manager finds the person medically eligible for main care, the case coordinator will also receive that notification as well, that they've been marked as medically eligible for section 18 on that application packet. And then that's it. So
So
notification.
Sorry,
yes. No, go
I
ahead.
just want to, the care coordinators will be able to see that level of care form, right? With the attachments, I believe.
Yeah. So as a care monitor, when you log into the system, your role will allow you to see those PCP.
So the care monitors will, right? I'm just thinking too, like part of the initial process as people are coming on, and then I assign like a care coordinator to them, I often have to like send these documents to them via email. So I didn't know like if they have
Oh,
access
yeah,
to
nope,
them.
Nope, you won't need to do that.
Okay, so they'll have access to them. Okay.
Yep,
that'd be
they
great.
will. Yep, care
Okay.
coordinators, care monitors, once,
Okay.
so care monitors will see them as soon as they get added. So, once the case coordinator adds creates the person record, adds the level of care, creates the PCP, those forms will automatically become available for the care monitor role to see all BI persons and those forms. Care coordinators would only gain access once you've made the assignment. So
Okay.
let's actually look at that. I definitely wanted to show you how to do assignments. So let me go back to my Leslie person. I should have done that before we came over to notifications. Apologies. So under Leslie's record, on this left menu over here, there's an assignments area. Location assignments or staff assignments. I'll start here with the staff assignments and just show you this. So weird. I just tested this last night and it was definitely there. I don't know, Jean, I know you're on the call if some changes have been made, but the case coordinator role is supposed to be able to do. Oh, just kidding. I don't think it is. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's the, I'm lying. I'm losing my mind. Let me log out really quick, Liz, and log back in and show you the waiver manager role. Your role has to add the assignments.
Okay.
I'm like, I know I just did this last night. Sometimes I'm using a different test account. So let me show you that. There we go. So as the BI waiver manager, when you're ready to assign a care coordination agency, you'll be able to log into the system, navigate to the person that you want to make the assignment under, go to this little assignments area. And if you get the name of the care coordinator themselves, like the actual individual, you can start at the staff assignment level and do the staff assignment, and then it will automatically create the location assignment for you as well. But if you don't get a name, I don't know how it works on the brain injury side, but sometimes on the DD side, they don't get the actual person's name. They just know what location. If that's the case, then you can start at the location level. Maybe you can't. Should be able to at the location level and just assign the location as well. But for right now, today, I'll just show you how the staff assignment works. So you can come in here, choose whether you want it to be the coordinator or the supervisor. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe you have to do either a care coordinator or a supervisor. So if you don't have the care coordinator's name, you have to do a supervisor instead. But let's do care coordinator just so you can see that. This will then give you a list of all of the all of the system users with the care coordinator role. And you'll be able to select the appropriate care coordinator. And then if that care coordinator has more than one location that they are assigned to, you can pick the appropriate location. But if they only have one, it will only show you one once you've selected their name. And then you can say when you want them to gain access. So it can be today, or I think it can even take like a future date. Like, let's try this. Like start at the end of the month. Actually, let's say February 1st. Like they're going to start at the beginning of a month. You can add notes if you want as well, but let's see if this. Oh, it's because I have an active one awaiting assignment here. Let me try. So I have an active, I have 2 active care coordinators and an active supervisor. So let me just inactivate. Yeah, there we go. It's because I was trying to duplicate that same staff assignment. But so then once you save it, it will add that staff assignment. And then you can see here, it was because spinach was already actively assigned and I was trying to duplicate that same assignment that it gave me that error message. I just accidentally picked the same person. But anyway, you can have multiple care coordinators or supervisors assigned, and it will tell you which ones are active. You can put expiration dates on them if you want, or you can leave them open-ended, however you want to handle that. But once you assign the care coordinator or the supervisor, the system will automatically make sure that their appropriate location is also showing up over here. So this one is all, they're all under that BI care coordination agency. So that's why it didn't add another one, but that's already here, that location assignment. And this is where your brain injury location assignment type is. So that's why I couldn't see that person record that I just created, because it didn't automatically apply this assignment type. This needs to be added manually. So I'll remedy the fact that that happened so that you guys can navigate into the person record and finish what you need to do as the case coordinator role. And as a waiver manager, you also have the ability to inactivate, just like I just did there, Liz. You saw me inactivate that one, but you can go in here and inactivate at any time. You just open the record, it takes you to that active one, and you just simply state unassign, and then you just give it a reason for the unassigned. Okay, that's it. So talked about notifications. I didn't show you queries. Let me log back in as the case coordinator and show you queries really quick. Actually, I'll go back to notifications really quick and just show you some of the features in there. No, I don't need to. In the micro learnings, you can learn how the notifications features work. So we'll go to queries and I'll show you queries. So as the BI case coordinator role, you do have access to a lot of queries. I'm not going to run all of these today. You can certainly, once you're either in this environment, I think you guys have test accounts to this environment, or some of you do at least, or once you get into the sandbox training environment, you can certainly play around with queries if you want. But I'll just show you the level of care ones on this call, just so you can see how those work. There are 2 for level of care. There's one for the ones that are pending review and the ones that are in progress. So if we start with the pending review ones, it's gonna, when you click on one, when you select one from your little filter icon up here, it's gonna give you the specific criteria that you can run the query based on. So for this level of care pending review, meaning they've been submitted and they're waiting on you, Liz, to review them, it's going to default to section 18 because that's the only program, but that is a required field here. And this created by is going to be empty. So it's going to give me all of these when I run it. So even if, like, Liz, you created some of the level of care forms, but you fill the position. So there's, let's call her Rose, is also creating some of the level of care forms. And then maybe you even have somebody temporarily, assigned to support that. You can run it without entering anything here, and it'll give you all of them that have been created and submitted and are pending your waiver manager review and approval. As you can see, again, this is a test environment. We create a lot of stuff and then don't finish it up. So there are 11 in here that have been created and submitted for the review and approval and never got completed. And so once you run that, you can, scroll, find the one that you're looking for. You can use these headers to sort if you want to sort the columns by anything. But it will give you, I don't know why these are sorting so strange for me in this environment, but let's do like submit date. So this is the most recent one that was submitted. It's the one that we just did on Leslie Neuro during the training. So I just clicked twice to get the newest ones to the top here. I can actually click on this and navigate right into that form so I can see it if I want to see all the details. And then I can use this little back button here to get back to my queries. It's not going to bring me back to my results, but it will bring me back to the query that I ran, and I can rerun it if I want, or I can show you this other one, the in progress. So this query, what this is going to return me for results are any level of care forms that were created but have yet to be submitted in the system. So it's going to default to my name and only the ones that I created. I'll just see if there's any. I don't think there are, but I'll just see if there's any. Oh, there is one. Look at that. So long time ago, one of the testers was testing with this Rose BI case coordinator account and created a level of care and never filled out the form and submitted it. So it's returning that as a result to me. I can click on it, navigate right directly to it. It's under this test person, Amy Smith. And I can see here that nothing was ever filled out on it. I'm not going to change that because I don't know who created this. But I could, if I wanted to, close that out if it's because it's one that I created. I could close that out if it was done in error. Again, I can navigate right back to my query. And if you want to get all of them, regardless of who created it, just to see how many are sitting out there in progress, you can remove that default and run it again, and it will give you all of them. So again, we have 22 that are actually in the system, created by other people besides myself, Rose, that were created and just never completed and submitted through for the approval. So that's how queries work. They're intended to show you sort of outstanding work action items. So you as well, Liz, as the waiver manager, have these queries that you can run as well so that you can see which ones you need to go in and do your review and approval for. Let's see. So we covered the contact form. We covered the level of care form. We talked about assignments. I showed you notifications and queries. I tracked an action of something I need to follow up on. Let me just quickly go back to my Leslie Neuro, since we do have plenty of time left, and show you the application and classification packet, since the BI case coordination role will also do those. So as a BI case coordinator, also under the plus new form, you can go to application and classification category. And in here, you can find the application packet and the classification packet. So I'll click up application packet, hit next, say that I'm doing section 18 and it's an application. And this is going to bring me into this brand new form. It's not filled, same deal as all the others. I can expand all. It will open up my sections here. I can use this if I want to see the sections. This one's small enough, so I'll leave the little toggle closed. This pre-populated for me from the create modal. So the only thing that I need to do in here is meet my completion requirements, which is going to show me that I need to fill out the forms checklist, which is telling me that I need to attach the level of care form. Or link, I guess is a better way to say, link the level of care form to this packet. And then I need to attach these 4 documents: the BI waiver application form, the BI clinical assessment and ABI checklist, the BI waiver consideration letter, and the ASA release form. These are all documents that are not populated, forms that are not populated in Evergreen itself. They're captured outside of the system and on paper, and will need to be attached, uploaded and attached to this app packet in order to submit this packet for Liz's review and medical eligibility determination. And then from there, Liz will add them to the program management waitlist area, which I do have a separate training scheduled for you for that later this week. So I'm not gonna go, I'm not gonna try to attach all these. You saw me, it works the same way with the attachments over here, but I will show you how this works. So for level of care form, since that exists in the system, you'll click on this little ellipses and you'll use this little plus link button, and it will open it up and it'll show you all the level of care forms that exist in the system. So all of them are there, but in order to link it, you're gonna wanna find the active level of care form. So that's gonna be the one that's completed. It's in a status of completed and it says active yes. So you can see here that this is the one that we just created during the training and it's still pending review. We cannot link this one because it's not completed. And this was the one that I had closed out because I wanted to create this other one to show you. So this one is also not one that I can link because it's not active. So I'd pick this one. I'd select it by clicking on it and then choose this little link button. And then it's going to go ahead and link that specific level of care form to this packet. So when this submits to Liz, she doesn't need to go searching for the right level of care form. It's already linked in this packet and she literally just clicks on it and it'll open up the right form for her to review. So that's how that works. And then again, if I went through and I did all the attachments to show you, then it would let me have all my completion requirements filled, and then it would let me submit this. And then that would trigger the notification to Liz's role, the waiver manager role, to review and score this application packet for medical eligibility. But let's go back here and I'll show you the class packet real quick as well. So same dealio, classification packet. There's lots more programs that you can choose, but we're going to do 18 because that's what you would be doing. And we'll do initial classification, but you can also do a reclassification for section 18 after the person's been receiving services for their first year. Oh, I already have one in progress, so it's not going to let me do that. Let's find the one that's in progress just so you can see it. So this is what the class packet form looks like. Again, you can expand all. For the class packet, you do need to attach both the active level of care form. So again, you're going to use this link. You're going to find the active one. And you also need to link the person-centered plan. And same deal, you're going to want to find the active person-centered plan. So in this case, on this person record, I've never completed a person-centered plan. I have 2 that are in progress, but they're both in the pending provider selection status. So it's not going to work. See, it says form selected is not the latest completed form for the program. Please select the latest completed form. So I can't actually link the PCP because there isn't a completed one for me to link here. But if there was, I would select that. And then both of the forms that, again, Liz the care monitor would need in order to review the classification would be linked right to the packet. And then in addition to those forms checklists, that you can also add attachments, but attachments are optional on the class packet. So for the classification packet, all you need to do is link the correct level of care and the correct person packet as the BI case coordinator, and then submit that to the care monitors, and they'll review those, and then they'll enter the classification information right into MIMS. But if you wanted to add an attachment, you can. And your category here is other application materials. That's your only category that you have, which is weird that it's called application materials. since it's a classification packet, but yeah, so that's the app packets and the class packets. So that concludes all of the areas that I was planning on demonstrating for you. I don't see any questions in the Q&A yet, but Liz, is there anything else before I switch back to the slide deck that you had questions on, or that anybody on the call has questions on before we go back to the slide deck?
I don't have any questions. I mean, I think that really just walks through, like, we get the application, we're adding the person in or identifying if they already exist, right? Then if we have everything, right, we can upload those application materials, then the level of care, it kind of gets passed on to me, but right now it's like me, because
Yeah, you're gonna be doing all the
okay.
roles. So
yeah,
initially,
so yeah.
gonna be weird initially, but initially when we go live, Liz, what we'll do is you'll be like a dual role. So you'll have one Evergreen account, but you'll have both the case coordinator and the waiver manager roles on
Okay.
your Evergreen account. And then that way you'll have it'll merge your permissions and you'll be able to
Okay.
just do everything in sort of one fell swoop.
Yes.
So
Yes, but I think that makes sense too. I mean, I do like that, that contact form too, I think, because my team is covering like our intake calls, but I think that might be really great for us to start using instead of like tracking on a doc, because it can then be just in the system and we can have it there and refer to it at any time as well. So I don't have any questions myself. I mean, I just open it up to my team if they do.
do you guys have access to the user test environment, the UAT environment right now, Liz, you and your team?
I don't,
Set you up with access to this environment?
can we do that? Because I know we had access to the sandbox, but then I think it went down and I'm not sure, and I'll ask my team too. I don't think we ever we haven't gotten access back yet.
Nancy made some really good progress today with the
Okay.
vendor. I think we're gonna get you guys back into that sandbox training environment real soon.
Okay.
Like I think she's probably gonna start sending out emails this afternoon or tomorrow. So,
Leslie, can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah. So I can really take a quick, are you talking about the early testing environment? The first question you asked?
Yeah, I was asking about this environment, the UAT environment, if we had set any of them up in here.
Is
or
that
not.
early testing? Because that's how I call it. Early testing versus
Yes.
sandbox.
Yes, early testing,
I
UAT.
can check early testing. And yes, I am making serious progress in the sandbox, but it may be a little bit longer than just this afternoon because I still want to talk about the way we want to send them this information out.
Okay,
So
okay.
may not be today.
Nancy, I think, Nancy, though, you did send like months ago, though, like initial logins, right? With the login info. So that's the early testing we could still do, right?
Yes.
Like that
Yes.
stuff still works. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, that will take you into this environment so you guys can be navigating around in here.
Okay, excellent.
Excellent, thank you. So I'm actually going to stop my screen share, give the slides back to Nikki. And we can wrap things up here today. So next steps are to practice. So we just discussed, you guys will actually, if you want to start practicing today, you can start practicing with that early tester access information that Nancy had provided to you a few months back. Also, in the coming days, you'll also receive a separate email from her that will link you into the training sandbox environment. Same functionality. You might have a little bit different permissions based on whatever we gave you at early tester versus what FEI set you up in the sandbox training environment. But either way, you can start navigating around the system and familiarizing yourself. You can also go up to the project website, which is main.gov/DHHS/EIS/Evergreen. And that is where all of our recorded webinars are. The micro learning videos are under the training page. There's also all of the training sessions that have occurred prior to this week are also already out there. The slide decks, the recordings, you can listen to any of those, look at the PowerPoint decks if you want, read through the frequently asked questions that are out there if you're interested. We're also working to update the frequently asked questions. So hopefully we'll be getting some updates to that out there in the next week or so. And then you can also just work on tying up any loose ends that you might have in EIS. If your role has entered any progress notes, reportable events, things like that, then you might want to just try to keep making sure that you're getting those completed each day so that you're ready when we do go live. We are still working with the vendor to determine the exact deploy date. We do hope to make that a public announcement really, really soon. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you haven't already signed up for a Q&A session or Q&A sessions in February, please feel free to do that. Our vendor FEI Systems will be leading those, but I will be participating in all of those sessions to respond to questions. They are literally just 1-hour sessions to field questions. So whatever questions people still have after going through their trainings, playing around in the sandbox or the early testing environment, you can bring those questions and we'll respond to those on those sessions in February. And then as always, you can email us at the project email address evergreen.dhhs@maine.gov. And Nancy's helping me monitor that as well. She's got an awful lot on her plate right now. I've basically kicked everything her way. But she is trying to keep her eye on that email box and help me respond to emails in a timely fashion. So feel free to use that email address as well. Or obviously, Liz, if you think of anything else, you can always bring it up on one of our Wednesday calls or reach out to me directly as well.
I check that mailbox every morning.
Thank you so much. You're the best. And also, we do have the training session, Liz, for you related to program management later this week.
Day. Yep. Yes.
You got that invite and are registered for that.
Yes.
And there are some other business process training sessions scheduled for the remainder of the week. If any of those are of interest to this group, they are going to be led by the developmental disabilities program staff, but they still can be very relevant to you and your team. If you're interested, you can certainly register for those or listen to the playbacks once those get posted, hopefully early next week. And that's all I have for today. I really want to say thank you guys for joining me. I hope this was helpful. I know we hit a few snags there and I bumbled around a bit, but hopefully this was helpful information. And I will make this recording and this slide deck available for your team as well. I'm not going to post it to the project website, but I will put it out in our Odes Common Drive, and then I'll give you guys the link to it so that you can access stuff from out there.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Leslie.
Thank you guys. You guys have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Take care.